Hello, precious people. And this time I use the word precious intentionally because today we're talking about the worth of human life. When I was younger, much younger, there was a TV show called The $6 Million Man. The premise? Astronaut Steve Austin, played by Lee Majors, is severely injured in a NASA test flight. A voiceover in the opening theme says, "Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology." And at the cost of $6 million, they do just that, replacing his damaged parts with new and improved medical implants. So they call him the $6 Million Man in reference to the cost of rebuilding him. But by the way, that would be over $37 million today. But doesn't astronaut Steve Austin have value in and of himself beyond the technology instilled in him? Apparently not. He's the $6 Million Man. How much value do we place on a human life? I once heard of a woman who had 14 children. Imagine that, 14. Now you might think the law of supply and demand might come in effect here. How precious can a child be if he or she is one of 14 children? Nevertheless, Mom said, "I wouldn't give up any of them. Not for $1 million. Yes, that's the spirit, Mom. And then she went on to add, "But I wouldn't give a nickel for another one." When it comes to valuation, it seems everything must be reduced to dollars and cents, even human life. Medical insurance companies use what's called the dialysis standard. For a long time, that standard was $50,000 a year. If it costs more than that to keep you alive, well, in their estimation, you're just not worth it. They are not going to pay. In 2008, that standard was updated to $129,000 per year. Now, of course, the government is involved. The Environmental Protection Agency says you're worth $9.1 million. The Department of Transportation values you at $9.6 million. In wrongful death cases, courts will often use your expected income throughout what would have been your natural life expectancy to calculate compensation to your heirs. So apparently, you're worth what you earn. As you might expect, the Bible has a different method of calculating your worth, and it has nothing to do with dollars and cents. Scripture has the deepest respect for all of life, plant, animal, and especially human, from the womb, throughout your lifetime, and even beyond your death. Courts, companies, and governments can't or won't take your eternal soul into their calculus of evaluation. But God can and does see the worth of the eternal part of you. And without discounting your physical life, your eternal soul is more precious by far. In Mark 8, verses 36 to 37, Jesus asks rhetorically, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" You see, what you earn in your natural lifetime in no way compares in value to the eternal part of you. You can gain the whole world, but the value of your soul overshadows it. Last week, we talked about sparrows, those tiny little birds worth hardly anything, and yet Jesus says God looks after them all. And then he adds in Matthew 10:31, "So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." The care God gives the sparrows is magnified many, many times over when it comes to you. God sees the value in you. But of course, the ultimate example of the worth God sees in you is expressed in John 3:16. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." Your soul is so precious that Jesus gave up his life for your salvation. What deeper proof of your value could you ask for? My request for you today is this: try to live as if you're worthy of that sacrifice. You aren't, of course. Nobody is. But we owe it to Jesus to give him some kind of return on the investment he has made in us. For instance, the whole point of saving us is to bring us into relationship with God. So do what you can to enhance that relationship. Be constantly aware that it is in God that you live and move and have your being. Let your spirit abide in Him always. Ramp up your prayer time. Study His Word. Make worship a priority. And furthermore, because of the value God finds in you, affirm that worth in others. Love others as God has loved you. Be generous. Lift others up. Show others you value them. Treat everyone with respect. Find ways to improve the lives of others. Now, you will never repay what Jesus has done for you, no matter how righteous you become. But don't let that discourage you. Don't throw up your hands and quit trying. Doing so makes His investment in you a total loss. Don't let that happen. Love Him back. Love others as well. What little you do is enough to thrill His heart and enough to fill your life with joy. No meditation next week, my friends. I'll be working on a memorial service instead. Nevertheless, I will see you soon. God bless you.